Hi Rotarians of District 7010. My name is Wayne Harding and I'm the president of the Peterborough Rotary Club. This is a very important year in our history as we celebrate our centennial. On April 1st, 1921, our club was founded. Can we start that again, please?
The Rotary Club of Peterborough is celebrating its 100th anniversary on March 1st, 2021, and we want you to celebrate along with us. The Rotary Club of Peterborough was the first club in District 7010, so for our district, this is a milestone, important to all 7010 Rotarians. If you don't believe me, just listen for a second time to President Wayne Harding.
Hello, District 7010. My name's Wayne Harding and I'm the president of the Rotary Club of Peterborough. This is an important year for our club and our community as we celebrate 100 years of Rotary. On April 1st, 1921, our club was incorporated, and from there we've done many things in the last 100 years to help support Peterborough. Today we have 3 clubs in Peterborough: the Rotary Club of Peterborough-Kawartha, the Rotary Club of Bridgenorth Ennismore-Lakefield. We also have our club, the Autonomy Rotary, or the oh my God.
Don't worry, Wayne. I'll take it from here. Fred Roy hosted the first meeting of the club on April 21st, 1921. The club membership was 25 at the time, and Rotary was the only service club in Peterborough that year. By 1922, Rotary Club of Peterborough sponsored the Lindsay Club. Immediately, the Rotary Club of Peterborough started with community projects. The first focus was on children by supplying milk to schools. The club members also helped delinquent boys who found themselves in police court. A wave of juvenile crime was sweeping the city, and the police had a difficult time coping with it. The boys were committed to Rotary's care and were sponsored, consulted, and advised by Rotarians. Nearly all responded positively and became good citizens. The Rotary Club of Peterborough has had many volunteers help at the 7010 district over the years, but notably, these people held the role of district governor: Ross Dobbin, Arthur Jones, George Green, Willis Cleveland, John Coburn. Assistant district governors include Wendy Hill, Richard Story, and Bruce Gravel.
We also have the Autonomy Satellite Club and the Rotaract Club of Peterborough. We're over 170 Rotarians strong in our community. Today is World Polio Day. Yay! We're standing here in front of one of our 4 Rotary projects for our centennial, a sun shelter that was built this summer by Rotarians. I hope you enjoy the next few minutes of presentation as you learn a little bit more about the Rotary Club of Peterborough and Rotary in our community. Thank you.
Nicely done, Wayne, and that's my cue to jump back in. Camp Kawartha, established in 1921, is further evidence that the club had concern for underprivileged boys of the community. Camp Kawartha was acquired for $350, and the main cabin and bunkie were erected in 1922. Rotarians built it, funded all the food, solicited sponsorships, and ran it for years. Operating a summer camp requires skills, time, and effort, and eventually an agreement was made with the YMCA to run the camp. In 1983, Camp Kawartha ran into financial troubles and it ceased to run for 3 years. This spurred the club to purchase the camp back from the YMCA. After investing $200,000, the camp was reopened in 1986 as a year-round facility. The club continued to contribute with funds and construction and support with annual fundraisers. In 2004, the club funded and built a new Rotary Hall with walls made of hay bales. The club has been involved with the camp for years, sponsoring, donating, and building. Long-running fundraising efforts have included Peanut Day, which ran for about 10 years from the mid-60s to mid-70s, where the club blitzed the city on one selected night, selling peanuts door to door. The Cadillac Dance also ran for about 10 years from the early 70s to early 80s, where through the sale of $10 tickets, someone could win a Cadillac, attend a dance, and win a door prize. It became very popular. Some were drawn by the possibility of winning the car, others regarded the ticket price as a great night out. The Trip of the Month ran from 1976 to 1990, when the urge to travel created another fundraiser. Participants purchased a $10 ticket valid for a year. 3 tickets were drawn monthly to win a holiday trip and weekend trip. These funds raised were turned over to Easter Seals children. Trip of the Month was later replaced by cash calendars in the 90s. The Cadillac Dance was eventually replaced by the car or boat lottery and continued until 1990. From 1947 to 2001, the club raised in excess of $1.4 million for Easter Seal Society. Money was raised solely for care and treatment of disabled children. Much was raised through a televised telethon, which has run for decades. The telethon saw dramatic increases in funds raised between 1971 and 1981 due to great support from the media, corporate donations, and Rotarians pushing to increase donations. The club continued to campaign and conduct telethons until 2003. Members would also drive and sponsor children to attend Camp Marywood and donated towards renovations for this camp for disabled children on the Rideau Lakes. Through the support of the fundraisers, the Rotary Club of Peterborough has conducted many worthwhile projects, including serving seniors, with a variety of different activities changing from year to year. A seniors program ran for years to provide pleasant experiences for seniors, including seasonal bus trips and contacting and fostering relationships with seniors who were isolated. Seldom did the club respond so quickly than at one meeting in 1970 on behalf of a committee appointed to select a project to celebrate the club's 50th anniversary, to build a center to help children. The Five Counties Children's Center was supported by all Rotary clubs in the Five Counties region. It was designed for the treatment, education, social, and physical needs of disabled children. A center providing such vital services became a vision and dream to be fulfilled. The partnership of Rotary clubs started working on the establishment of the center in 1972, and the construction was completed in 76. The club continued to support the center through campaigns until the end of the 80s. A playground was built for the center in 1982. It is a worthy monument to the activities of all local Rotary clubs in the 70s. In the 80s, the Rotary Golf Classic was introduced to support the center, which ran for a decade. In 1988, Rotarians explored the possibility of starting a second Rotary club in Peterborough. A decision was made in December 1988 to charter the Rotary Club of Peterborough-Kawartha. Our clubs have worked together on several projects. Ongoing, we fundraise with the Kawartha Club at Music Fest. At Music Fest, members of Kawartha and Peterborough work together to sell tickets as a fundraiser, in which much of the funds are in turn utilized to provide free concerts twice a week in Peterborough. In cooperation with the Peterborough-Kawartha Club, a Rotary Community Day takes place annually to offer entertainment and fireworks for families in our city. For almost 20 years, the Rotary Family Day offers fun times focused on families, with the highlight being the fireworks in the evening. Kawartha and Peterborough clubs worked together to fund an off-leash dog park, which opened in 2014 and was the first of its kind to the city. An outdoor adult gym at a local park was driven by the Peterborough-Kawartha Club. The groundbreaking took place in 2017 with an official opening in June 2018 in celebration of Canada's 150th anniversary. The Super Spring Cleanup of the Peterborough community is a project led by the Kawartha Club, taking place on Earth Day each year, in which members of both clubs clean up the community. The club's first inbound and outbound exchange students came from Holland and went to Bolivia in 1970. The club continues to participate in the program. Who can measure the depth of understanding the students bring home after a year's immersion in Canadian culture? An important event takes place every Christmas, which began in the 1970s and continues today. The annual Christmas party. Jolly old Santa appears and brings gifts to the children along with activities, crafts, cake, and ice cream. Ho, ho, ho! One of the major accomplishments was to sponsor the Rotary Club of Bridgenorth Ennismore Lakefield in 1976. They are an active and fun club and do much for their community, and still convince us to jump in the lake every February for one of their fundraisers, the Polar Plunge. During the 80s, the club expanded their international service to assist with humanitarian and developmental projects in a number of countries. In the past 20 years, the club has worked mainly in Honduras. The club began work in an orphanage and branched out to other areas in the country. The club was responsible for water projects, medical aids, teaching supplies, and built a teacher training center in Honduras. Rotarians worked with the locals to build a tilapia pond, a chicken coop, and also a large greenhouse for specialized crops. A reusable menstrual pad project was carried out as well, and over 250 kits were distributed to Honduran girls. In 2018 and 19, our club began working on projects in a second developing country, Nepal, and purchased sewing machines so that groups of women could learn to sew the menstrual pads and then sell them. Currently, there is a global grant application in the works for Honduras, and when approved, would support a project on the island of Roatan off the coast of Honduras. It will establish permanent jobs for waste pickers by recycling plastics, which will then be melted and produced into plastic lumber. Started in 1987 and still running today, the Rotary Carl Oak Swimathon became a big part of fundraising both for Easter Seals children, the hospital, and Five Counties Children's Center. Always a health advocate, Rotarian Carl Oak started the Swimathon as a one-man effort, but by 1996 over 100 swimmers participated. The Swimathon continues today with Carl's Daughters in the Pool and in partnership with Century 21. Over $1.2 million has been raised by the Swimathon. Probably the project which brings the most awareness to the club is the Rotary Greenway Trail. In 1993, work began on a trail throughout Peterborough to promote healthy lifestyles by providing walking and cycling experiences in a safe environment along the Otonabee River. Many donations and partnerships were required to complete this project, which is still enjoyed by citizens today. In 1993, a dinner and auction was organized as a fundraiser. It still runs today with a unique virtual auction for 2020. Donations of articles and personal services in addition to auction activities raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for the club's charitable contributions. The annual Spelling Bee improves literacy, confidence in youth, and prepares students for provincial and national spelling bees. Funds are turned back to the schools to assist with literacy projects. The club contributed $120,000 from 2012 to 2018 towards Habitat for Humanity. Funded by our annual Rotary auction, the club worked with high school students to build 6 Habitat homes over 6 years. Rotarians worked with the Habitat Youth Council to complete the housing projects. It was the first Habitat project of its kind in Canada. In 2015, with the assistance of a bequeath from a member of the Rotary Club, an education center was built and opened at the local zoo. The Rotary Education Center is used for educational programming including guided tours, zoo crew, and zoo academy classes. The meeting room is also available to rent by community groups. Food programs continue to be a part of the club's activities, including volunteer work at Kawartha Food Share and Kids Against Hunger, breakfast programs, and Christmas hampers. The Rotary Club of Peterborough has responded to many needs for service across the spectrum. To celebrate the club's 100th anniversary, the Peterborough Club is working with the clubs within Peterborough and the district to celebrate and complete some major projects to the tune of $250,000. A centennial publication is in the works to document achievements and archive club activities. This comprehensive book will be available in 2022, so all our centennial celebrations and projects are captured in the book. Working with Camp Kawartha, we are building an environmentally friendly health center. The club is excited to work with Camp Kawartha, as the camp is a significant part of its history. The second project is working with youth in the local emergency shelter to build transitional housing. The tie-in to helping youth runs deep in the club's history and members' interest. The Youth Emergency Shelter works with youth and families to lead full and positive lives by providing emergency shelter, education, and transitional supports. The final large centennial project is the completion of a shade shelter on the Rotary Greenway Trail, which was recently completed and to be enjoyed by the community for years to come.
I hope you enjoyed that video presentation and learned more about Rotary in Peterborough. This year, our plans for the gala and our centennial have been pushed back because of COVID-19. We really hope to have a gala in 2021. Thank you for all you do in your communities and for the world, and keep up the great work of Rotary. Thank you and have a great day.